Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and we've got another leak. Oh boy, I know, you're so shocked. So you know how we were supposed to get the Amonkhet Remastered spoilers, which is Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation, but with much of the filler jank removed? We're going to get that list of spoilers starting on the 10th through the 12th, I believe. Yeah, well, forget that. They added the cards, either the artwork or the name references, somewhere in Arena already. And so people tore apart the asset data and made a full list. Now, I'm not even going to cover the full list because it's like, oh, look, Oketra's attendant is in the set and Cancel isn't. It's almost like they got rid of the dumb filler draft crap and kept the important cards. So if it's like set specific, it's in here. I mean, I don't have a full like list of what they didn't include, but that's pretty much how it went. So honestly, I probably wasn't even going to cover the spoilers when they came out, so whatever. But remember how they said they were going to sell, historic anthology packs or historic something, or I don't even remember what they called it. I think they were going to call it Arena Masters or something. I don't know. They had some name for it, but they're going to sell packs for all the older stuff that they're remastering. I just don't remember when that was supposed to come out. I'm thinking they probably wouldn't have done it for just Amonkhet, but then how else would you get the cards? So because, Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation, almost regardless of price, would not be worth opening a pack for, just use your wild cards basically. They threw in some absolute power cards that you could get excited about opening, I guess. I mean, they'd be considered money cards in, paper, but you can't trade or sell anything from Arena. So what they really did is pissed off historic players, as if they couldn't anymore after that ridiculous ban announcement that made the format 10 times worse. It's literally just White Rush, Red Rush, and Elf Rush. That's it. Those are the only 3 decks that anybody plays at any competitive level. If your deck can't board wipe on turn 3, don't even play it. You will lose. So Historic currently is an absolute dumpster fire and a joke. So here's what they're adding to it. Now this could be an anthology that we just don't know about yet, or they could have stuck these into the Amonkhet Remaster booster packs. One or the other, both, who knows. So first up on the non-Amonkhet, non-Hour of Devastation special cards is Demonic Pact. Oh, that's right, they're going for some gems here. So that's an Origins card. It's very gimmicky, very abusable. So it's at the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been done. Demonic Pact deals 4 damage to target creature or player and you gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards, draw 2 cards, and then you lose the game. So, 4 turns from then you lose the game. So besides Switcheroo, there's actually like another card that can switch permanents with the same type or whatever. And I already had somebody play it on me once. 1 game and I'm already sick to my ass of it. Never want to see it again. It was that white damage preventer, lose counters, lose the game thing, and somebody flipped it with one of my enchantments and I lost the turn that they attacked. So yeah, that was fun. A lot of interactive mechanics there, a lot of ways to stop that, not. So now we get Demonic Pact on top of it. Great, so now everybody's going to be playing the frickin' Switcheroo deck. That's wonderful. We needed more of that in the game. Thanks, Wizards. At least with this one, you can use a temporary don't lose the game effect, and then it just sits there and does nothing. So you only need to prevent it once, so maybe somebody will actually use it and sit on it. But for 4 mana, it's a garbage card. It does next to nothing, basically. So no, they're just going to give it to you and you lose the game. So we're already off to the races with broken, degenerate garbage. Let's move on to Hornet Queen, which is not Hornet Nest, by the way. I thought it was for a second. So it's a 7-drop 2/2, which, okay, flying, death touch, whatever. But when it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. So kind of a neat card. I mean, I think that's the type where like it fills a gap. You want to have a lot of stopping air power in green. That's very, very rare. This is a way to do it. But because it's such a powerful green thing, and green never has flying and never has flying removal. I mean, yeah, Windstorm, but whatever. Well, it naturalized, but basically green's general weakness on the color pie is flying. We all know this. If you want to stop flying to this degree, it's going to cost you 7. And I think this is perfectly appropriate. This is like exactly what they should be adding with an anthology or some kind of mystery set or whatever. And then there's JSON Raveler of Secrets, because we needed another Jace like we needed another Teferi. So this one's a 5-drop, 5 loyalty. I remember he's not even all that great. I played him in 1 deck, but whatever. So +1 scry 1, draw a card. I mean, that's huge. You don't have to discard a card, so he's already better than most Jaces. And then -2, return target creature to its owner's hand. Not bad for 2 when he comes out for 5. I mean, this guy's solid. It's just, he didn't really fit in a particular deck back then. And then his -8 is you get an emblem with whenever an opponent casts his or her first spell each turn, counter that spell. Pretty dickish, but you gotta get to 8. I always found that to be kind of funny. Like, it's not game ending, it's just horribly annoying. I mean, I've lost with the emblem out. It's one of the ults that it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not outrageous, but it's borderline. So why they felt the need to add this, I have no idea. I mean, we already have War of the Spark with too many damn Planeswalkers. You need to take about 10 of them and ban them from Historic, but nope, here's another one. Next up on the list of Planeswalkers we definitely did not need another one of, we've got Chandra Pyromaster from M15. Oh boy. 4 loyalty for force, so very reasonable in most decks. And smallest text you could possibly ever throw on a card, but let me just read the Oracle here. +1, she deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, and 1 damage to up to 1 target creature that player or planeswalker's controller controls. That creature can't block this turn, so very annoying. It's like insignificant and annoying, but it's like maybe removal for a plus, which is, as we learned from Oko, very bad. So 0, exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn, so just honestly a blue effect. They're trying to disguise it as a red effect. It's a free card draw. I mean, what are they trying to pull here? Then -7, exile the top 10 cards of your library, choose an instant or sorcery card exiled this way, and copy it 3 times. You may cast the copies without paying their mana costs. So, I mean, this is like a slow to mid-range burn Chandra. I don't know if that'll be a thing in Historic. I mean, you certainly wouldn't drop her into a Goblins deck. 4 mana is too slow for that stupid atrocity of a deck that they need to ban immediately. I don't know what she'd go in. I don't even think she's that powerful, but she doesn't technically have a minus except for her ult, which is pretty damn good. In a Super Friends deck, she would be amazing. Then again, it's like, how many game-ending instants and sorceries are you going to put in a Planeswalker deck? It doesn't really make sense. So I don't know. I just didn't want to see another one. I don't think anybody wants to see another Planeswalker in the game ever again at this point, after they just completely ruined the game for 2 years. Next up, a very unwise choice if it's the card I'm thinking. The 2013 World Tournament, there was a loop deck where it was just board wipe, loop, draw, board wipe, loop, draw, and I think the only win con was to steal one of his opponent's permanents and win with it. It was basically just the loop deck from hell that never ended. And just watching it made people lose all faith in competitive Magic. I'm pretty sure the deck was called Sphinx's Revelation. I'm very sure of that, actually. So it was this and some board wipes, and he would just gain life, draw cards, gain life, draw cards, and then there was like a Stealer Planeswalker or something. I don't even remember. The deck was absolute cancer. They were so embarrassed they just pretended it wasn't a thing, and if I recall, they didn't ban anything from it. They just hoped nobody else would play it. And then somehow they didn't. I guess nobody brought it the next year. I don't know whatever happened with that, but it was a real slap in the face to competitive Magic and Magic's reputation. Go look up the footage. I would to check if this card was what he was playing, because I'm like pretty sure, but I just don't want to see it again. It would make me actually throw up. So they decided, you know what would be a great idea? Let's throw it into Arena. What's the worst that could happen? Of all the cards, when they know that Asper Control was complete ass cancer around the time of Amonkhet, they're going to throw this bullshit in. Are you kidding me? So you might look at it and say, oh, you're overreacting. This is just like a whatever blah good card. I know what kind of damage this card can do. So anyway, it's double blue, single white plus X. You gain X life and draw X cards. This is Asper Control's stall out, draw out dream card. This has no place in Magic. They absolutely should not have added it to Arena, and I hope this whole list is fake from some subreddit troll. Next up, now see, here we go, Wrath of God. I mean, there you go. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated for 4. We didn't have a good 4-cost board wipe except for that thing that gives them a card. This is a slight upgrade from that, and I don't like giving my opponent a card right when I board wipe them, to be honest, so this is absolutely the type of classic staple bread and butter card that they need to add. Now, in the exact opposite category, we've got Thoughtsies, which for some reason they think the game needed. This is one of the most hated cards in the history of the game, period. The general community, and especially the pro players, wanted this card banned ever since it was printed. Like, literally since the invention of Modern, they wanted this piece of shit out. Words cannot even describe the level of hate for this card. And they decided, you know what would be great? Throw it into Arena, throw it in Historic. What the hell is this card going to do to stop Goblin Rush, White Life Gain Rush with the Johnny's Pride Mate, and Elf Rush, getting rid of one of their cards? What the hell is that going to do? They're probably trying to suppress gimmicky glass cannon combos by letting you shred their, one of the 2 pieces of their combo on turn 1. But the level of hate for this card, if somebody's running some glass cannon bullshit, ban that. I mean, what about the people who aren't playing black that can't stop it? This was a huge mistake, including this card. Next up, I don't even have words for this. Why would they possibly include this card? It's Pact of Negation. Why? Why would you do this? Why does this Legacy and Vintage pile of shit have any place in Historic. If you're not familiar with how this piece of shit that should be banned in every format works, you pay 0 to counter any target spell at instant speed. Then, at the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 2 blue and 3 generic. If you don't, you lose the game. So, you know how the problem with Teferi was that at the end of your turn, he would untap some lands, so you would always have lands available to counterspell, and that was the exact same problem with Wilderness Reclamation? Well, here it is in card form. Except that this is better because you don't have to actually have the lands untapped. You just have to have them untapped next turn after your untap step, which you will. So in Legacy and Vintage, they do some real bullshit with this. Usually they don't intend to ever pay it. They're just going to win on their turn. This is just a 0-cost counterspell to them, which is why everyone in those formats absolutely hates this card. So why they thought they needed to bring a 0-cost universal counterspell into the game, I couldn't tell you. I guess with this and a couple in the past year, they thought, I think Esper Control needs to be even worse, even more toxic garbage. With the release of Amonkhet, when Esper Control was like the shit, we need to bring some of that community hate back. We need to resurrect it, because I love getting screamed at on Reddit, apparently. That's what the staff was thinking. What an absolute bunch of morons, including this card. There's no words for this. Next up, from 10th edition for some reason, Shatterstorm. So it's basically a utility board wipe for red, but in a very red way. So, you know, red loves destroying artifacts. Yeah, this destroys all artifacts in play that can't be regenerated. So, I mean, this is, you know, bread and butter staple card, sure, if they thought this was necessary, whatever. Once again, instead of forcing red players to play this, either mainboarded or sideboarded, how about instead you ban Steel Overseer and then make sure nobody ever plays a abusive artifact synergy deck, because everybody hates those. I mean, that's the real solution, instead of forcing a red player to run this useless do-nothing card. This is Wizard stupidity right here, and they've admitted that they do things this way. It's okay, guys, it's fair and balanced because we printed an answer in 1 color for 4 mana that people have to play in best of 1 mainboarded. It's like when they brought back Field of the Dead. We've got an answer for it. You can destroy lands with 1 or 2 different cards now. You just have to play it. It's mandatory that every player has to now include that in their deck. I don't care if it fit your deck or not, or screws with the color of the no, you have to run this card. It's fair and balanced. We printed an answer. Clearly, Wizards of the Coast does not understand how their game works. Next up, we've got Rest in Peace from way back in Return to Ravnica, was also in Master 25, was also in Signature Spellbook Gideon, if it looks familiar. So it's a 2-drop white enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from all graveyards, so it's already got my attention. And if a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So no more graveyard mechanics, bye-bye. Now see, this is wide enough that I wouldn't say that they're printing an answer to a specific degenerate deck or combo. I mean, they are, but I mean, you got multiple flashback effects. You've got, you know, Golgari carrying how many cards are in the graveyard. You've got Izzet resurrecting spells from the graveyard and casting them directly from there. This stops enough things that I'm like, okay, this is a good staple bread and butter card. I'm glad they included this. Next up, one of the most hated cards from Theros, we've got Anger of the Gods. Clearly they just looked at what the community complained about the most and then printed it. So this is a 3-cost double red sorcery, and it deals 3 damage to each creature. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Doesn't look that good, but it is. I mean, red doesn't have very many widespread effects, and if they do, they're usually kind of weak and overcosted. This is 3 for 3 widespread. Yeah, it hits their creatures too, but in the decks that run this, that's not the point. Well, not only is that not the point, that's not relevant. I mean, yeah, people are mostly complaining about, oh, you blew up all my goblins and my elves and my whatever else, now what am I supposed to do? Run a better deck than some chimp intelligence bullshit tribal deck that floods on turn 4. So a lot of people are just butthurt about their simplistic deck, but I mean, in a lot of decks when you're trying to play Devotion, you don't want to lose every creature in play. That's bad. So this was mostly played, if I remember correctly, in like a burn style thing, or like a extreme mid-range with like, I don't know, probably Perforos's Hammer or something. It's been a while. And I believe they just wiped the board while, you know, still hitting you in the face with spells, and then there's nothing you could do. Life linkers were gone, doing damage faster than them was gone. It would just enable red burn to win, which was very, very, very annoying. So in Historic, does this seem appropriate? Yeah, probably. I mean, in the context of especially like Standard right now, okay, do 3 damage, whatever. I mean, this will probably just stop a bunch of degenerate, you know, tribal crap, but we all know nothing's going to stop it other than a ban. Like, if you're running red, why wouldn't you just run goblins? It's a faster, better deck than this. They need to do something about it. And the fact that they packed goblins on purpose with Anthology multiple times really, really pisses me off. Because it just outlines how, one, they don't play test shit, and two, they really like giving support to the most hated mechanics in the history of the game. Goblins being one of them. And elves being the other, and weaponized life gain being a more recent one. So they hit all three, and like I said, that's all that people play in Historic right now. So they boosted all three of them with Anthology, and now they went too far. It's like Modern Horizons all over again with Hogak. They just simply don't know what the hell they're doing. Next up, one of the most disastrously mistaken cards that Aaron Forsyth specifically in an interview, hell, I probably have the clip, but my main drive that holds all my data for YouTube is dying right now, and I'm trying to recover it. Well, not so much recover it as 8 unrecoverable sectors, plus probably more. I'm obviously going to send it in for warranty if I can. But regardless, I just had to drop $200 on a new 8TB drive plus 1-day shipping, which is basically 4-day shipping. So I'm having a hell of a day, but yeah, that might affect the Bulletproof Vest video too, by the way. Because it's so new and because it was taking up so much room on my phone, that's the only copy of my footage. So I'm trying to copy 4.5 terabytes of data to one of my backup drives that I had to really clear up first. And it's going to take 19 plus hours, and my whole computer freezes every time it hits a misread on the drive. So I'm just having a blast with this shit. But yeah, I'd include the clip of Aaron Forsyth in the interview saying this. I think it was an audio interview. I don't know. Might have been a text one. Who knows? But he said, Collected Company we thought would be some fringe gimmick that some people play in sealed or draft. We didn't think anybody would take it seriously or run it in constructed. I mean, how do you still work there after saying that? How does anyone even expect you to be able to do your job if you're that clueless? I mean, that's like Oko levels of clueless. Fire Mark Rosewater, and especially Fire Aaron Forsyth, he is behind approving every broken card you've seen in the last 10 years. So anyway, if you're not familiar with this pile of game-ruining shit, look at the top 6 cards in your library, put up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This is just the tribal booster to end all tribal boosters. You might think, oh, 3 mana, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, trust me. It's relevant. You're going to get some targets. You're just going to boost your tribal. You get an ETB effect. You might get a death effect. I mean, I've seen this ran in zombies. I've seen this ran in elves, goblins, everything. This was, once again, one of the most hated cards when it was in Standard because it was so ridiculous on turn 4. And most people would ramp into it on turn 3 and then just go get more mana dorks and then just, like, drop in, I don't know, an Eldrazi or something. I don't remember. So just think about this. Somebody in their staff, in fact, multiple people sat there and thought, you know what the game needs? More free casting from a card that everybody hated and hit like, I don't know, $30 or whatever the hell it was at the time. That's a great idea. Honestly, hope at this point the best thing that could ever happen to the game Magic the Gathering is to have Seattle disband the police and then like the next day Wizards headquarters basically turns into like that aircraft carrier fuel tanker from Waterworld, if you've seen that movie. Where it's just criminals and it's run by a crazy warlord, because that's what it'll be literally the next day. Anyway, this card. Next up, okay, I played when M15 was out and I don't remember this card. So it's a Perilous Vault. It's a mythic. Okay. If you pay 5 and tap it, exile all non-land permanents. What the f***? What would you possibly do with this other than win with an emblem? I mean, what even is this? It's too expensive for burn. You get one shot at it, it exiles itself. This is the shittiest, most pointless board wipe I've ever seen. I mean, I guess if you're just like, I want a really good board wipe because whatever, okay. Most board wipes only take out the creatures, though. This is just like planar cleansing but colorless, and you technically have to pay 9 for it. And nothing goes to the graveyard. This is weirdly specific. I'm going to look at the price of this card. I'm very curious. It's like $5. What the hell? Well, I can't think of one single use of this that wouldn't be degenerate ass cancer, so I'm just going to write it off as more bullshit we didn't need in Historic. Fantastic. And finally, the last one, and my gosh, are you guys going to wonder what the f*** they were thinking on this one. Lord of Extinction. It's a 5-drop, it's already in Golgari colors, so there you go, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. If you play this in a friendly commander game, somebody's going to hit you in the face with a bar stool. This is one of the most overpowered creatures ever printed in the history of the game. I mean, you just drop it in and its power and toughness are basically 20. This makes Emrakul look like nothing. But yes, it dies to removal. Shut your f***ing clueless mouth. But yes, it doesn't have trample. But yes, it isn't flying. Shut up. You should never have a 30-30 creature for 5. That should never happen. You can give it flying and trample. You can counterspell something that tries to blow it up. You can bring it back from the graveyard. This is historic. You could probably either ramp into it on turn 3 or just blatantly free cast it on turn 3. So to call this overpowered would be an understatement, and to print it in the same, format as Golgari is beyond idiotic. And by the way, it's not legendary and you can clone it. So have fun with that one. I think the state of Historic right now, they are probably already seeing record low amounts of players on Arena because it is completely and utterly unplayable. It is turn 4 shit that makes Modern look good by comparison, and they're adding this to it. Really, plus Amonkhet. They are going to have a dead format. They're going to have 0 players left playing this shit. You won't even be able to find an opponent on Arena after this shit launches. Do not spend your coins or gems on packs from Amonkhet Remastered. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. You might as well digitally and virtually take your currencies and just flush them right down the toilet. They've killed Historic. There is no coming back from this. No amount of bans is going to make any of this okay. It's a f***ing joke at this point. So Wizards permanently and unrecoverably ruined another format, the one that I primarily play, well, up until 2 days ago. And I guess, what, I'll have to go back to Brawl now that they have fixed it? I mean, I'm certainly not going to play Standard. Like, you'd have to be out of your damn mind to play Standard right now. Yeah, they've almost ruined every format that everybody plays. No wonder they're just losing players left and right. To requote that statistic from a bunch of different third-party trackers, like all these little Arena Assistant overlay programs that also track, usage, they have lost approximately 50% of their Arena players. And somebody who goes as far as to download an Assistant is a pretty hardcore player. I think they've lost more casual players, so honestly, I think they've lost 70% of the active Arena players. Just for reference, in case you're wondering. So I guess they're going for 90%, maybe 95% player loss on Arena now with this bullshit by killing off one of the 3 formats that anybody gives a shit about. Maybe it's a conspiracy. They just want everybody to resort to draft, which is ungodly expensive. I mean, remember, they did just make the draft reward table a little bit more tempting to people who think they're good at the game. Or people who think mistakenly the draft isn't basically 95% pool luck. I don't know, the whole future of this game looks like absolute shit. I can't wait for rotation to see if they can salvage this in any way, shape, or form, but I doubt it. Hopefully we get more like 16 card ban announcements like they did last time, because we're going to need multiples of those over the next couple weeks to save any of this shit. So, yeah, there's people on Reddit that looked at this list and this alleged leak. It's really something. People are not liking a lot of this, these. They're just looking at these cards like, not this again. So I wish I had some good news, but I don't. And if I can successfully copy over the footage that I just shot of the bulletproof vest in the project file, I'll have that eventually. Yay! In the meantime, I'm working off of a backup drive. In case you're curious, my computer actually has one Samsung 970 EVO, which is like the fastest M2 ever made at the time. 3.5 gigs a second. It's only a 500 gig though, so it's basically full. Then I've got a 4 terabyte, an 8 terabyte, another 500 gig Crucial MX500 because it was on sale, and a lot of my Steam games are on it because, hey, it's an SSD. And then a backup 3 terabyte. So it's about to have 8 and 8 if I can get a warranty on this 8. But if it's only a 1-year warranty, I think I've owned it for like... Oh, no, I think I bought it around Christmas. I don't know. Yeah, November. Huh. Send me a free drive, Seagate, you assholes. 2,800 hours on this drive, and it's like mounted in a proper, like padded vibration-proof rail right next to a cooling fan. You've got to be kidding me, Seagate. I am so done with your 4% failure rate trash. This is why I ordered a Hitachi to replace it. Anyway, thanks for watching. F*** you, Seagate, and I'll see you guys next video.